You know what's crazy? Most people will do 3 laps of a car park, hoping that they'll find a space as close as possible to the entrance of a store, instead of just finding a convenient space and walking an extra 30 seconds. Most people will queue behind 8 cars at a drive-through instead of just getting out and walking to the empty counter inside the restaurant. Most people will get into debt so that they don't miss out on a night out with friends. You know what all these people lack? Discipline. Hi again. Today I want to talk about frugal living and its effect on the mind. I totally get that not everybody wants to live in a frugal manner. Not everybody wants to live without putting the heating on or going out for fancy meals in restaurants. But you know what? If you've reached a level of financial abundance where, you've got stacks of cash, you don't really need to think about the price of anything anymore, then crack on. You are what I would call set for life financially. Meaning you have enough saved and invested to not have to work again for the rest of your life. And if that is you, then good for you, man. You've achieved something that most people haven't. But if you're like me and you enjoy living frugally, or you're one of the millions of people that is living paycheck to paycheck, or you just haven't really got anything saved at all, or even the people that haven't actually managed to reach a net worth of $100,000, this video is for you. See, in my early 20s, I didn't have a clue about any of this stuff. I didn't know about investing, what to invest in. I was pretty much a dummy when it came to investing. However, I did have 2 good things going for me. I had a burning desire to become financially free, and I had a frugal spirit. I call it a frugal spirit because being frugal kind of like came naturally to me a little bit. I've spoken about this before in some of my other videos where as a kid I was like, I'd make a chocolate bar last all week instead of buying multiple chocolate bars, because I knew that if I wanted something I would have to save for it, and that meant cutting down on the things that I really enjoyed and making them last longer. But what I never realised at the time was how much of an effect this has on the rest of your life. Now, frugal living is not easy. People might taunt you for it, they might test your resolve, especially if you're like in a bar and they're drinking and you're choosing not to, or only drinking tap water maybe. You might start to feel a bit singled out. They might be saying things like, oh, come on, just have a couple tonight. Come on, just spend a little bit of money tonight. It's not a big deal. One night won't hurt. And these people are kind of going to test you. But there's 2 things that these people don't understand. They don't understand delayed gratification and the empowering effect of frugal living on the mind. You see, in their eyes, you could get hit by a bus tomorrow, so they just think, oh, just spend everything, it doesn't matter, who knows what's around the corner. Why bother saving or investing? I mean, I get it, I really do, because if something bad was to happen and you were to find out you only had a few more months to live, you would probably think, okay, I wish I hadn't been so frugal, I'm just going to spend. But the thing is, like, the chances of you actually coming down with a terminal illness and dying very quickly, or getting hit by a bus, or any of these things, is a lot less smaller than the chance of living till old age. So by teaching yourself to avoid unnecessary spending now and cultivate aggressive saving to then invest, you're creating a future life of freedom, and with freedom comes happiness. Because of frugal living, I'm now able to wake up on a morning and do anything I want, anything at all. Whereas those people in my 20s who were like, oh, come on, spend your money. Those people are still having to go out to work. They're working 8 hours a day or more. Most of them aren't very happy in their jobs. And it's just like they didn't have the foresight to see that making a sacrifice in your younger years would be something that your future self would thank you for. So am I glad that I was frugal? Abso-freaking-lutely I'm glad that I was frugal. If I could go back in time, I'd give myself a pat on the back and say, well done, you got that part of your life right. But by far the best side effect of living frugally is the subtle changes that happen to your mind. You see, from the outside you might be thinking, oh yeah, well, I'm living frugally and it's difficult, it's tough, but I'm doing something that most people can't do and I'm quite proud of that, but that's all there is to it. And while that is true to a certain extent, there's a whole lot more going on inside of your mind, inside your brain, positive developments that are taking place that you're probably not even aware of. You see, to live frugally takes mental discipline. If you go to a bar or a restaurant with friends and they're all encouraging you to spend money and splash out, but you manage to stay strong and only drink tap water instead, what do you think that does to your mental strength? It's like putting your willpower on steroids. It's building resilience on a whole other level to most people. Most people can't do it. Most people can't live frugally. They don't have the willpower. They've never cultivated it. It's too difficult for them. If you're living frugally for an extended period of time, you should be very proud of yourself. You're mastering your mind. You're building discipline that will then bleed over into other areas of your life and make life just more enjoyable all around. And this is because you're pushing yourself to do something that's tough. And that makes you a stronger, more joyful person because you feel empowered by it. Most people have no idea about the world on the other side of suffering. That's what you're basically doing when you're living frugally. You're purposely putting yourself into a suffering state. You're saying no to that new shirt or the new car. Most people in the West will go into debt to buy this stuff. I know that it's not easy to say no to this stuff, but if you remind yourself of the reasons about why you're doing it, maybe you're saving for that first house, maybe you're saving for a once in a lifetime vacation, maybe you're trying to become financially free, whatever the reason is, remind yourself of it and it will motivate you to keep going, and the strength that you get from keeping on going with it will, like I said, bleed over into other areas of your life and make you mentally tougher in every way. As a little test, ask yourself this: when you see your bank balance at the end of the month, right before payday, how does it make you feel? Sad, angry, frustrated? And what comes next? Maybe you think, oh, I'll just get through these next few days when I get paid and then everything will be alright. Yet what's the first thing you do when you get paid? For a lot of people, the first thing they do is they go and pay $30 for a takeaway from the local Indian restaurant. Or they go out with friends for some drinks and blow $100 on a night out. Discipline. Tell yourself, no, I'm not doing that this month. Put the money out of reach if you have to so that you can't get to it. It's all about discipline. If you want to know whether you have superhuman discipline, here's what you do. Next time you go in the shower, take a look in the mirror and tell me if you're happy with what you see. If you're not happy, you're not disciplined enough. It really is as simple as that. Next time you're in the shower, when the glass is all starting to steam up, write on there, discipline. Remind yourself of it. Visualize it first thing on a morning. I've made videos about this. Train your mind to focus on the life that you want. If your plan is to get financially free, then you're going to need to make your first $100,000. This isn't for weak people. This is for strong people who are disciplined. Get rid of your social media. That stuff's full of people and their fake lives. And you know, comparison is the thief of joy. They're out there living that fake luxury life. Regardless of whether it's real or not, you block it out. It's not conducive to your mission. Look, those people that you see on their Instagram stories going to fancy restaurants every night or staying in posh hotels all the time, how can they ever appreciate those times if it's become the norm? I purposely only go to a restaurant about once a month because I know that I'll appreciate it more because of that. It's like if you don't eat chocolate for a whole month and then somebody gives you a Snicker at the end of the month, it's going to taste a whole lot better than it would if you've been eating it every day. It's the same with frugal living. People will say to me, how can you be bothered to get up at Sparrowfart to go and take a metro to the gym and work out? I tell them it's because I cultivated discipline through frugal living, and the sooner you start doing it too, the sooner you'll be in better shape than you are now. For me, frugal living is a lifestyle now. I can't ever see me changing from it, to be honest, no matter how much wealth I have. It's something that keeps me grounded, appreciative of everything. I know that all of these great benefits are taking place in my mind. That's keeping me a stronger person. And for anybody out there that's watching this and isn't living frugally already, I would highly encourage you to start doing it, because then you can reap the benefits too. Alright, that is the end. If you feel like you got something from this, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in the next video. Ciao.